Hello, this is News Live on Viewer Television. I am Jay Malik. Now let's begin with the headlines. Nigerian soldier commits suicide after arrest for aiding terrorist. Abubakar Malami declares for Kebbi State governorship amid resignation ultimatum. Plus, Israel Prime Minister's family receives death threats. Now, the Senate President Ahmed has read the letter of defection forwarded to him by Senator representing Sokoto South, Ibrahim Dambaba, in the plenary. Now, Dambaba said he is leaving the opposition party, PDP, as a result of the internal crisis rocking the party. In his remarks, the Senate President said defections to the ruling All Progressive Congress and the building up to the forthcoming general elections is a welcome development.
Letter from distinguished Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Dambaba, Sokoto South Senatorial District, Senate Deputy Minority Whip. I write to formally inform you and my distinguished colleagues of my decision to join the All Progressive Congress, APC, from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. My decision is anchored on the continuing and multifaceted crises that have bedeviled the PDP, especially at the zonal level, which has created not only credibility problems, but has undermined party discipline, cohesion, and focus.
Reason for defection, Senator Philip Aduda of the PDP disagreed with the Sokoto South senator, saying there was no crisis in the state as presented by Dambaba.
Mr. President, my immediate former deputy minority whip has alluded to the fact that there are crises in the northwest region of the PDP, and has also said that there is a crisis in his state. I want to state that there are no crises in the PDP in the northwest. So his might be personal, but otherwise there are no. I just want the public and everybody and Nigerians to know that there is no crisis in the PDP in the northwest.
Senator representing Anambra Central, Uche Ekwenife, also kicked against the move, insisting that Dambaba must vacate his seat as provided in Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Uche Lilian Ekunifiyom Ifekoledo of Ukpo. I come from Anambra State. I represent Anambra Central. Mr. President, I'm coming under point of order, constitutional order, Section 68 of 1999 Constitution as altered. Mr. President, let me take you to subsection G, based on the fact that I can't say former, our deputy minority whip is intending to defect to APC side, that side.
The Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, however, ruled them out of order, saying it is not common practice for lawmakers to defect from one political party to another.
On the issue of 66G or 66 whatever, 68G, you see, we are at liberty as elected representatives of the people, when our parties are torn into pieces, when there are factions, when they are in such irredeemable and destructive crises like the PDPs, we are free we are free to leave, to take our leave.
Now, Senator Dambaba's defection brings the number of APC senators to 71, PDP 37 senators, and Young Progressive Party 1. And on 2023 presidential race, the chairman, Senate Committee on Capital Markets, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, representing Egon Central, has notified the Nigerian Senate about his intention to contest the 2023 presidential race. The reports.
Senator Ibikunle Amosun's notification is contained in a letter addressed to the Senate and read by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawa, during plenary on Wednesday. Amosun said he would declare for the race on the 5th of May.
Letter from distinguished Senator Ibikunle Amosun, CON, FCA. Our dear Senate President, notification and invitation to the formal declaration to contest for the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the All Progressives Congress, APC. I have the greatest respect that I write to notify you and my distinguished colleagues of my intention to contest for the office of President of our dear country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to respectfully invite you and my distinguished colleagues to the formal declaration ceremony.
Ibikunle Amosun is the third senator of the ruling party, the APC, to join the presidential race. Senators Rochas Okorocha and Oji Uzo Kalu had earlier announced their bid for the presidency.
Now, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, on Thursday declared his interest to contest the KB governorship under the state ruling party, the All Progressive Congress. The state party chief urged members to woo more reasonable persons that can add value to the party for the success of the party. However, Malami and other government appointees still hold on to their positions despite being given 72 hours by the order of their party to resign their appointments. Now let's take it to Adamawa State, where the forefront contender for the governorship ticket for Adamawa State under the All Progressive Congress, Abdulrazak Namda, says infrastructural development in Adamawa has so far been concentrated only in urban areas. Now he adds that the time has come for the goodies to be spread to all rural areas with his candidature. Namda said this while fielding questions from newsmen shortly after picking up his expression of interest and nomination forms at the APC Secretariat in Abuja.
In the state at the moment, development is only concentrated in the cities, and that we will do it now right all over the state, because it's not only in the city that you get elected. You get elected right all over, and you can see development. If people are not carried along, the situation will not be good. So I want to assure you that.
Now, a social worker and community builder in Plateau State, Honorable Mark Na, has joined the race for Just Northwest State Assembly constituency in the upcoming 2023 general elections. Na, who is aspiring under the platform of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), said despite having so many representatives over the years, but yet the indices of underdevelopment in Just Northwest constituency is alarming. The aspirant made the decision during his declaration of interest at the new Just Hotel, where he revealed 3 focus areas such as security, human and community development respectively. Nasiri Saidu tells us more.
I'm declaring to aspire for the position of member Just Northwest.
A social worker and community builder, Honorable Mark Na, has joined the race for the Just Northwest State Assembly. Mark says he's aspiring to contribute to the development of the constituency. He revealed 3 focus areas to address, such as security, human and community development respectively, if given the mandate.
By profession, I'm a social worker, and for every social worker, he is a community developer and a human developer as well. So what actually necessitate my coming out is the fact that, of course, we wouldn't want to see that other members who have been there have not tried. But I feel, being a grassroots leader, knowing what is the heart yearning of the people, I, of course, know the real problem, and I am actually coming out to be able to see if I can get the platform to address such problems.
Stakeholders in politics says Mark have what it takes to represent the people of Jos Northwest at the Plateau State House of Assembly.
Mark Sunday now is the father to the fatherless. He has so many orphans that are under his care. He is a son to every widow. He is a two-time Security Award youth leader, becoming the best security conscious youth leader in Plateau State by the Commissioner of Police. Mark indeed is a dynamic leader. Mark indeed is a quintessential leader. He is a leader that will take us to the promised land.
A special prayer was offered to the aspirant by his mother alongside teaming supporters. Nasru Saidu, Viewer TV News, Jos.
Now, a People's Democratic Party gubernatorial candidate in Adamawa State, Victor Kona, has pledged to resolve myriad issues that have bedeviled the state that hampers development. Kona made this known while declaring his intention to run for the governorship position. The report.
The gubernatorial aspirant stated that if given mandate, he will put an end to the challenges hampering development in the state. Kona, who is the former chairman of PDP, said he has always been with people at the grassroots and understands their challenges. He reiterated his commitment for a peaceful coexistence among the people of the state and maintained that there can only be meaningful development where peace is guaranteed.
We are certainly going through daunting challenges in every aspect of our lives. And it is true that there can only be a meaningful development when peace is guaranteed. But it is equally true that such peace must be deeply rooted in love for one another to promote unity and prosperity among our people. This will only be achieved when we put our differences, ensure justice, equity, and then of course, give each and every Tarawan a sense of belonging.
The aspirant further stated that he is offering himself as the torchbearer to light up the way and unite Tarabans from every nook and cranny of the state, irrespective of their religion and ethnic affiliation. He added that he knows where the shoe pinches because he was born and raised in the state.
In PDP, we believe in consensus arrangement, but it's discretionary and optional, depending on the understanding of ambitious aspirants. So, if the consensus, we adopt consensus by picking the right candidate who knows the nook and crannies of the polity, and we adopt. You cannot just come and do consensus on an unpopular candidate who is not even known. We pick consensus on to favor a candidate that is known. Seeing my profile, I will be willing to accept consensus as long as it favors me, because there is no any other candidate in PDP better than I do.
On how he can effectively do that, the aspirant said he spent most of his political career in party administration, having once been chairman of the defunct United Nigerian Congress Party in 1996 before becoming the People's Democratic Party chairman in 2012. Linda Guana, Viewer TV News, Jalingo.
Now, Governor Nyesom Ezo 1 week of Rivers State has declared Farah Dagogo wanted for alleged hiring of cultists to attack the People's Democratic Party Secretariat in Port Harcourt. Wike disclosed this in a statement issued to newsmen by his special assistant on media, Kelvin Ibiri, in Port Harcourt. The governor has directed the Rivers State Police Command to arrest Farah Dagogo, a member of the House of Representatives from Degema Boni constituency. Now, he stated that Farah Dagogo allegedly hired cultists who stormed the PDP Secretariat in Port Harcourt and disrupted the screening of aspirants for various elective positions. Now, when News Live returns, Nigerian soldier shot and killed himself after he was arrested for aiding Islamic State for West African province. Details of these and more comes to you right after this break, so stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Ikia Marton. Being an anchor has been a tremendous experience, from editing the news to reading the news. As an anchor, you have to be objective and impartial. Sometimes you have to put on a very indifferent look, a stoic character, such that you do not display your emotions. But then the stories that we tell, from politics to the economy to insecurity to education, also affect us. And as journalists, we're also affected by stories. From the teleprompter to the lights to the camera to the action to the reading of the news, it's all a synchronization of various activities at the same time. Sometimes you have to listen to feedback, sometimes you have to stop, sometimes you have to continue. Sometimes, there are technical hitches that we can never overlook, but then you have to come up with a strategy, you have to come up with your professionalism to ensure that the audience do not even know what is happening behind the scenes, and then you just have to carry on.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Live on Viewer Television. Now, a recap of our top stories. Nigerian soldier commits suicide after arrest for aiding terrorist. Abubakar Malami declares for Kebbi State governorship amid resignation ultimatum. Israel Prime Minister's family receives death threats. Now, a Nigerian soldier shot and killed himself after he was arrested for aiding Islamic State for West African province. Lance Corporal Jibrin was an instructor with the Nigerian Army Battalion in Gidem, Yobe State. The soldier was involved in a series of attacks on communities in Yobe State in recent weeks and was put under surveillance after two separate attacks in Gidem and Gashua towns in Yobe. Now, Jibrin, who specializes in arms control, snatched a pistol from one of the arresting officers and killed himself despite being handcuffed. Military sources said the soldier was tracked by an army intelligence unit and was found in Gashua, some hundreds of kilometers from his duty post on Tuesday. National Youth Service Corps member Stephanie Terugwa, who was declared missing earlier this month, has been found dead. Now, this was disclosed in a statement by the NYC spokesperson, Eddie Megwa. Megwa disclosed that the cop was found wearing the NYC khaki trousers with the face defaced beyond recognition. The cop member was said to have been seen last in the local government area of Abuja, dressed in her complete NYC uniform. According to a report, it was discovered that parts of her body had been removed when her remains were discovered. However, the NYC spokesperson said investigations are ongoing to apprehend those responsible for her murder. A civil society organization which focuses on the protection of education in emergency situations and keeping schools and students safe in Nigeria, the Brain Builders Youth Development Initiative, has lamented that the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria stood at 10.5 million. The director of the organization, Abidin Olasupo, made the disclosure in Ilorin at a press conference to mark the 2022 Global Action Week for Education. He stated that the attacks on schools and students are a threat to a realization of the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which he said focuses on ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promotes lifelong opportunities for all. The Nigerian Communications Commission has commenced the process of conducting a study to assess the current level of competition and the collocation and infrastructure sharing segments of the Nigerian telecommunications sector. Now, according to the Commission, the study is to enable the regulator to have insightful and evidence-based facts to glean the dynamics at play and ensure the continuous growth of that segment of the telecoms market. To that end, the Commission has engaged the services of Messrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the world's reputable consulting firms, to conduct a study on its behalf in the exercise of NCC's regulatory functions as provided in the Nigerian Communications Act 2003. The study is expected to be concluded between April and July 2022. The Nigerian Army on Thursday deploys no fewer than 197 troops for peacekeeping mission to Gambia. Now, the Chief of Operations, Army Headquarters, Major General Luwafemi Akinjobi, stated this at the pre-deployment training graduation of Nigerian contingent to ECOWAS mission in Guinea-Bissau, held at the Martin Luther Angwa International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center, Jaji, Cardinal State. Represented by Major General Zakaria Abubakar, Director of Peace Operation Army Headquarters Akinjobi, noted that Nigeria remains the beacon of peace and the gatekeeper of the ECOWAS sub-region.
The centerpiece of Nigeria's national defense policy remains the security and stability of Africa, with a specific emphasis on the West African sub-region. Performance of the troops in the mission could only have been possible through effective training. Therefore, the pre-deployment training is a requisite to provide the troops with the essential knowledge required by all peacekeeping personnel to function effectively in any peacekeeping operation.
Earlier, Commandant of the Center, Major General Awal said the aim of the pre-deployment training was to equip the units with requisite skills and knowledge to function effectively and efficiently during the deployment to Gambia.
This training has been intense, comprehensive, and was conducted in line with the standard United Nations core pre-deployment training manuals. The Martin Luther Angwa International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center is a United Nations accredited regional hub for training of quality peacekeepers for multidimensional peace support operations. This Center of Excellence has audaciously continued to conduct these trainings for different missions. The Economic Community for West African States mission in the Gambia is one of these missions.
To this end, Nigeria has successfully participated in over 40 peacekeeping missions and deployed more than 100,000 peacekeepers since her first mission in Congo in 1960. And on drug trafficking, the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the bail application filed by ASP Bawa James, a co-defendant in the alleged drug trafficking case preferred against suspended DCP Abakari and others. Now, Justice Emeka Iwethe, in a ruling held that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency had succeeded to prove its argument beyond doubt why the court should not admit James to a bail. Now, recall that the NDLEA had on March 7th arraigned Kyari and 6 others on allegations bordering on a cocaine deal. Justice Iwethe ruling on bail application filed by James after Kyari and other co-defendant bail pleas were rejected on the ground that James' application was not ripe for hearing. Now, the Cardinal Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service intercepted contraband which duty paid value was put at 31.4 Naira from April 1st to date. Now, Wada Sedi, the controller in charge of Castina, made this known while displaying the goods before newsmen in Castina State. He said the goods include vehicles, foreign rice and pasta, vegetable oil, macaroni, cow skin, premium motor spirit and gas cylinders. Sedi said the customs also seized 8 vehicles with a DPV of 8.6 million Naira. He said the ban of the export and import of contraband remains in spite of the reopening of the Jibawa border. Now, the Southern Cardinal People's Union has called on civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, foreign missions, the European Union, United Nations to beam their searchlight on the atrocities, crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing being perpetrated against the people of Southern Cardinal under the watch of the Cardinal State government. The president of the union, Jonathan Asake, said the horrendous attacks on Cardinal State, especially the southern flank, has become glaring, with both government and security agencies seem incapable of reining in the activities of these vicious bandits. He explained that at the moment about 200,000 persons are displaced, while 148 communities have been taken over by the terrorists with no assistance from the government. And on business news today, the Central Bank of Nigeria has urged Nigerians to embrace its intervention programs to promote financial stability and economic development. The Apex Bank Director, Corporate Communications, Osita, said these at the opening session of a 2-day fair organized by the Apex Bank in Owerri. Now, he represented by the Deputy Director, Corporate Communications Department, Sam Okogbo, said that the interventions were aimed at business emancipation and poverty reduction. He said that the CBN's Anchor Borrowers program was the nation's saving grace for increased availability of rice during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. An unfair subsidy, the subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, between January and March 2022 has risen to 675.93 billion naira. The latest data obtained from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited showed. Now, also the NNPC has informed the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee that it will deduct or recover 671.88 billion naira from April 2022 2022 proceeds due for sharing at the May 2022 FAAC meeting. It described the 671.88 billion naira as a value shortfall incurred by the NNPC, as the oil firm has remained the sole importer of petrol and into Nigeria and has been subsidizing the commodity using billions of naira monthly. And in news around the world, the family of Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has received death threats and bullets in the mail for the second time this week, the police said. Now, according to an Israeli official familiar with the matter, the target of the threat was Bennett's 17-year-old son. The official spoke on condition of anonymity in line with regulations. Bennett, who leads a small nationalist party, has come under heavy criticism from Israeli hardliners who accuse him of abandoning his ideology. In 1995, Prime Minister Isaac Rabin was assassinated by Jewish ultra-nationalists opposed to his peacekeeping attempts with the Palestinians. Russia's decision to stop supplying natural gas to Poland and Bulgaria is a further test of European Union unity in support of Ukraine, which continued to resist President Putin's invasion after 64 days of fighting. The decision of Gazprom, Russian state-owned energy giants, to free supply to the two EU and NATO nations, both of whose energy networks depend heavily on Russian imports, was condemned as blackmail in Brussels. Putin is long accused of weaponizing Russia's energy exports. This freeze has been interpreted as a threat to all of Europe that Moscow is willing to turn off the taps and choke Western economies or even at great cost to its own revenue. Now, former U.S. President Donald Trump's endorsement in Ohio appears to have given GOP Senate candidate J.D. Vance a boost, while his endorsement in Venezuela and Georgia seem to have faltered or have had minimal impact. Now, Trump has received backlash from Republicans in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Georgia over his endorsement. In Georgia, Trump's gubernatorial endorsement appears to be due to a grudge against incumbent GOP Governor Brian Kemp, who declined to help Trump in his failed efforts to overturn President Joe Biden's election victory in the states. And that's all the news live, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Nigerian soldier commits suicide after arrest for aiding terrorists. Abubakar Malami declares for KB governorship amid resignation ultimatum. Plus, Israel Prime Minister's family receives death threats. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy Malik. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.